Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is the weekly Pint. This is not a show. It's a happy hour, which is why I don't feel terrible about the chaos that I have created getting set up for tonight. Hopefully everything is working, everything is ready to go, but it's very possible that there is something that halfway through the show I'm going to realize is not, because behind the scenes, I was working on Saturday doing a photo job, and I packed all of my things just to go to shoot this to make sure I had anything that might pop up that I need. And the light that I have over here, you can see it on my hand. There's a big light right here. I used to have a cheaper light that I had over here for the live stream, and actually this is in the wrong spot. Right there we go. I had a cheaper light set up, and a week or two ago I thought, hey, you know what, the light that I'm using here at the desk, I've got better lights. Why am I using this cheap crappy light if I have something better? So I switched it out, and I put a better light here, and it looks better. It works easier. I can control it all from the mission control that is in front of me. It's better, but it's one of my good lights that I use for other things. Having it set up here is nice when I want to take pictures, because this is usually where I set up to take pictures of stuff. I can just drag it over and it's already set up, it's ready to go. It's nice, but if I'm going somewhere to take pictures, then I pack it up and I take it with me. So I packed it up and I took it with me on Saturday. Then Sunday, obviously, we had big plans. We had things going on, and then all day today. Today is my oldest kid. It's her birthday, so we were celebrating all day. And then I came downstairs like 10 minutes before the show started, and thought, oh crap, I have to have all of this stuff set up. And I didn't. So I was trying to find, lights and cables, and I had headphones all packed up because I did a podcast last week too and hadn't unpacked any of that stuff. So I had to set up light stands, lights, and soft boxes, and plugs, and it was a lot. And then I sat down and I'm ready to go. I had to go get the computer and the iPad were both packed up, and got it all ready to go, get ready to hit live, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have a camera because the camera was also packed up in another bag from something else. So I had to go get the camera and get all that plugged up. It was nuts. The little lights in the background, which really aren't that, they're not that important. I don't need them to go live. But neither of those were charged because I used those this weekend for some stuff. So the one that's in the on-air light, there's a chance that one will go out halfway through the show because it's not plugged in anything, so it's just whatever battery is left over from on Saturday. And then the red light, this is not the normal red light I have. I pulled out an old other light that I've used for some stuff. It's all boring behind the scenes stuff, you guys. Just know that it was complete chaos for the last 40 minutes or so. Thank you for the birthday wishes to the little Nomette. What is everybody drinking? Marco's getting his to go and Truth for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, by the way. Julia is popping some cold medicine. So she's being responsible. That's boring. So quit your day job and have to put on the red light. Yes. A la police. I gotta crack open a beer. I have a cooler sitting next to me. This is leftovers from the game this weekend, which I really don't care to talk about. I'm still not feeling great about anything. I know that I will, but as of right now, it still stings a little bit. However, they are both themed beers, I guess, to that. And I'll let you guys choose which one I drink. One, it's in there. We could go, it's dripping from ice water. Hang on, let me get a towel. if you could see the mess that is all over the floor in this room too. There's all kinds of cases and boxes and all kinds of crap. We have Houday, which is Little Kings, from the best I can tell. I don't have any actual, real evidence of that, except that it tastes like Little Kings. We can do that, or I believe my last Urban Artifact Orange Medley. This is for the small batch series. It is an American fruit tart, so 6.9%. I love this beer. It's delicious. So you guys tell me which one I should drink, or maybe I'll be good enough and I can get through more than one of them, but you know how that normally works out. They're both like really cold right now too, because they were in this cooler with ice, and I'm salivating just thinking about it. Marco says Houday. I don't know if he was just saying Houday, if that's what he wants me to drink. Julia says, I thought you said you were going to drink the whole 6-pack during the game. Disappointed. Drink the Urban Artifact. So we'll have to drink them both, since you guys can't come to a consensus. I'm going to start with the Houday because it'll go down faster. All right, here, Justin can break the tie. Justin, do I start with Urban Artifact Orange Medley, or do I start with a Houday beer? You're the tiebreaker here. And hopefully I'll get to them both, but Josh says both indeed. Well, we'll start with Houday then. Sorry, Justin, you don't get a vote, because I can drink the Houday a lot faster. I was going to drink the whole 6-pack, and it just didn't work out that way. We had a bunch of Kinney's Day Drinking Lager from 16 Lots. I had a crowler of Big Sis that I stopped on the way to my in-laws' house to buy. I drank that. What else? We did a lot of shots. We started a thing this year where instead of gambling actual money on prop bets and stupid things like that, we gambled shots. So if you won the bet, you did not have to do a shot. If you lost the bet, you had to do a shot. And then anytime the Bengals scored, we had to do a shot too. So there was lots of shots going around. Houday 22. It is us. It is a premium beer, is the only thing it says on here. It is brewed and canned by Cincinnati Beverage Company under special agreement. We'll get to that later, I guess, in the episode. 2022 commemorative edition can. Does it bother anybody that I just cracked it open? Justin says it's amber lager. It is not amber lager. I don't know if you can see this color-wise. Well, here. I have a little light sitting right here. Here. Oh, that's not amber lager. That is Little Kings, if I have any palate for that sort of thing. It's good. It is delicious, actually. Cold, refreshing. We talked at length about this on last week's Weekly Pint. It is also not Hootie Delight. We talked, like I said, last week on the Weekly Pint about this beer and kind of what it means and how they screwed up or didn't screw up. Julia says you should have shotgunned it. Yeah. It's not going to be one of those nights. I still have to work tomorrow. I still am happy with the fact that this beer exists and that I was still able to drink some this year and to hang on to some cans. We won't go too in depth because of that. I've put a post up on the website that kind of dives in a little bit to my opinion about it all too. So if you missed all of that talk last week, you can always jump over there and read read my thoughts there. I do have a few labels that we could go through this week. We could talk about this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast, where I shot over to Woodburn to check out the new Woodburn kitchen. And we recorded the episode before I actually ate any food, so we didn't really talk about the food specifically as much as we could have. But I can talk in depth about some of the things that I tried. I think I tried like 3 different things, and I will definitely be back to try more. Marco says, no, from the beer fridge. Yeah, I almost put something in the show notes about it. I was drinking a Vespa. Chef Han was drinking something hoppy. I don't remember what. Josh was drinking. I can't remember. I don't know, but we were drinking. We just didn't really talk about it. Sometimes on those food centric episodes, or the episodes that are kind of something a little bit different, it's hard to sometimes it's hard to work it in without it seeming forced into the conversation. It just worked out that way. I was drinking Vespa, if you guys need to know. Drank a lot of Vespa. I love that beer. Well, let's dive into. You want to do labels first, or you want to talk about the episode of Cincy Brewcast? You guys tell me. While I take another big old swig of my beer. Chris says that Vespa slaps. I think that's what the kids say when it means it is good. It is very good. Labels them food, says Julia. Beer slaps. I think it's just because it's so cold. And it's been a long day. We could talk about my day too, or even my weekend. Been a lot of stuff. But my day was definitely nice and exciting. Let's see. That and that. There we go. Oh, I forgot to pull the chat up on the screen, or tell you guys that you can call in. You guys know the drill by now, though, right? If you want to call in, there's the number, 567-70-DRINK. If you want to join in the chat that way, but you guys can do it just the way you're doing it, and it works very fine. So, tree search. Chris says, I think it's my new favorite thing we make. Speaking of Vespa, I assume, because they don't make tree search. This is tree search number 9. Tree search is Mad Tree's experimental kind of IPA series. They use lots of different things. Sometimes they swap out malts. Sometimes they swap out hops, different yeast, all kinds of stuff. They did one that was a sour IPA. There's not really any rules about it. It's just to play around with different things. And then some of these kind of work their way into other beers. And Tropic Theory and things like that came from Tree Search beers. This is number 9 as far as the canned Tree Searches. It says Hazy Pale Ale. Let's see. Lotus, Strata, Simcoe, and Nelson hops. I'm interested there. Malts, Pilsen, red wheat, oat flakes, caramel 20L, flaked barley, carapils, and then London Foggy. So yeah, it's a hazy pale ale, a delicious, I'm sure, hazy pale ale. I love the topographic map kind of theme to these cans. Yeah, so not a lot to talk about. Julia says, is the label a topographical map of somewhere? I don't think so. I believe it's just art that they created. However, it very likely could be somewhere in theory. You would have to ask somebody. I don't know. There's a way to kind of search that. Can't drop that into Google or anything, and it'll pop up and say, "Oh yeah, this is a topographical map of Oakley." Don't know. It is an artist rendering. You guys got a little sneak preview of what's coming up there. A Moorline beer. A Moorline / Taft's, whatever you want to call it, beer. This one is Flux, their Belgian-style wit beer. Moorline is not getting the attention that I think some of these beers might deserve. They're not they're not bad. They're all good beers. I think that they definitely deserve to be tried by everybody. Sorry, my wife is texting me, and of course I don't have my notifications turned off, so I see it pop up on my screen. And she said that the boy is still awake. That's the way it works. Josh is making sure I'm not so boring. He bought me a red cream soda Astra, and he has a long drink. I actually drank a little bit of red cream soda Astra the other day, and it was delicious. I was at Hop and Vines. I'm sorry, texts are coming in still. Evidently, my the boy wants to get out of bed and come downstairs because he wants to watch dinosaurs on TV. He is on a dinosaur kick this week, and so I know that I'm going to finish this show that is not a show, walk upstairs, and both of my kids are going to be awake. House is going to be trashed, and we're going to have to start all over again for the night. But I did drink a little bit of red cream soda when I was there, and that stuff is so delicious. I'm not a seltzer guy. I'm really not. But I do enjoy some of those things sometimes when I do drink them. All right, so going off topic. Moorland beer, Flux, Belgian wheat beer. Sounds good for the spring, even though Belgians are not necessarily my thing. Up next, another sort of Moorland beer, Taft's beer. You guys know about this one. Houday. This is the Little Kings, I think. They're not talking about it, but it's pretty much Little Kings, or premium beer as they call it. I know that they got a little bit of crap for the design on this can. I think it's great. I think I really like it. I think it looks good. It looks good in person. It looks good. The artwork alone. Yeah, I like it. Just looking at the actual can compared to what is on the label, and everything's right. So we'll move past that one. Urban Artifact. This is more of that small batch beer that they are cranking out. I believe this is the next release. Let me look and see. My order, I believe, goes through this week. Yes, we have 4 beers for this month's Small Batch Society. Double Kaleidoscope, Pineapple and Coconut Cream Midwest Fruit Tart, Papaya and Cashew Apple, which is what this one is, and then Mango Chili and Lime, which I think we saw a week or two ago. I'm excited about all of them. The 4 packs comes out to like $74 or something, and it's a little steep for me to keep cranking out that much money every single month when they put out these beers, but they are good. That orange medley that I'm sitting on there is fantastic, but that's still left over, I think, from last month. So it really does take me at least a month to get through 4 packs of Urban Artifact beers, especially if they're bigger. They're bigger, higher ABV beers. Paul Miller from Beerkus is jumping on. Says we released our lead light in cans this weekend, celebrating Ludlow Sports All-Stars. I did see those. There's a couple different labels that are on the lead light cans. All of them are different people from Ludlow's past sports stars. So it's not it's certainly not a Houday beer necessarily like this one, but it is their own salute to local sports, even more local than some other people are saluting right now, which I'm all for it. Salute the Bengals, but I love the salute to Ludlow's Sports All-Stars. I think it's fun. I also do have to apologize to Paul for not making it down for wrestling. I am still heartbroken about that. I assume we talked about that. We talked about it on this week's podcast where I wasn't able to get down there. But I am making plans to get to one of those wrestling shows. And I know I texted Marco about it. Julia, I will hit you up too with my plans. We will definitely all get together sometime. Anyways, moving past the Urban Artifact beer here, we'll keep going. We have Westside's Braille Ale. I know you guys have heard about this one. If not, had it. This was... They first did this, 2 years ago? Something like that. This is the first beer label that, as far as I know, that has actual Braille on it. I think this was brilliantly done. A great beer. But just the label of this is so fantastic and such a neat idea. And I'm happy to see that they are still doing it and still doing it in the same way. So if you didn't try this one before, make sure you grab some of this because it's fantastic. Moving on, another Westside. This is a juicy IPA. If you don't catch on, it's a juicy IPA. Nothing too much to talk about there other than it's not a new release. There's not a lot of new stuff this month on the labels. That's it. That's everything that came through the last week. I anticipate things will definitely start picking up quite a bit as we get into spring. We tend to see a lot more releases than we do kind of through these winter months that we're coming out of. So stay tuned for lots of fun stuff. But, I just remembered something else, too, when I was having to reach across the desk to switch back to this camera angle. That was the other thing today when I started setting up the show. I get ready to go live, or I went live. I don't know if you guys caught on that the music started later than the video actually did, like the timing was off. It's because I started the video and then went to start the music and realized that the mouse that I use, I have like a trackpad that hooks up to, or it doesn't hook up, it Bluetooth connects to the computer, and the batteries were dead, so it wasn't working, and everything has just been so chaotic. Paul says, brilliant indeed. The Cloverland team / Westside deserves every bit. I love seeing fun things like that with beer. I know that it doesn't, you can't taste label artwork and you can't taste fun ideas or fun events in tap rooms. And maybe you could call them gimmicks, but I really, really, really love seeing it. It creates such a fun thing around breweries, around beers, around events, around stuff. It's one of those sides of beer that sometimes people crap on a little bit, the gimmicky side. But if it's a good gimmick, it's good. It doesn't matter. And I know we talked about that on the Beerkus episode. I think we even touched on it a little bit on our Woodburn episode this week, where we talked about kind of events and the excitement around events that has started to pick up. Oh gosh, in the last few years. Excuse me. I like it. I know that not everybody thinks it's as important as maybe I do, but I do think it's important. More beer. I'm drinking out of a Fatheads glass tonight too. Not super local, but a little bit local, kind of ish. I need to go through and purge some of my glassware that I've got. And I've actually been contemplating purging some of my can collection. Though I probably shouldn't do that till I really get it all up on the walls and out and see what really I'm dealing with. That is definitely Little Kings, you guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't know I know we talked about this beer a lot last week, and it's been talked about a lot online and everywhere, so we don't need to. But I don't know how I feel about not knowing what beer is in the can. I know that it's a collectible, and people don't actually really care. They're not buying them to drink them, most people. But I wish that it at least said somewhere on there, Little Kings. I know why it doesn't. I know that it was not always intended to be Little Kings in those cans, but or I assume. I guess I shouldn't say I know. But it does bother me just a tad. That is the one thing about it that I don't know that I like. Marco says, I agree. Tell me what the beer is. Yeah. It's similar to kind of my gripe about tap lists and beer descriptions and things like that, where I don't really care what you call a beer. I don't even really care what style it says it is, as long as whatever I'm reading lets me know what that beer actually is once it's in my glass. If you say this beer is called Marco's IPA, and in the description you tell me this beer is in the description that is there for me to see, it has to be easily accessible. The description says it's dark and chocolatey and roasty. I might say something like, man, that's not an IPA. But I know what it is. I know exactly what's going to be in my glass. Versus if I walk in and the only information that I'm being given is Marco's IPA, I have something else that I'm expecting. Now, that opens up a whole can of worms, though, too. Because IPA means something different for everybody these days. You know, IPA can be something like this one, this juicy IPA from Westside. It can be Westside's double IPA. It can be a session IPA. It can be there are so many different things that IPA can mean. Hello to the Newbert Report. Thanks for joining us. We're talking beer. So whatever you have to do to communicate to a drinker of what they're about to put in their glass before it goes in there, the better. That's not to say that I wouldn't care if it was a mystery too. if you sold this beer, and I don't think legally you're supposed to do this, but if you just had this and it said mystery beer, 5% ABV or something, I think I'm okay with that too. Like, I think that also lets me know what I'm in for, that this is supposed to be a surprise, and you know are accepting that when you are purchasing this beer. But if you tell me something's a stout, if you tell me something's an IPA, and again, IPA is a bad example, I have something in my head, and you sure as shit better give me what I'm expecting. So that's not exactly the same as people thinking this is Hootie Delight or whatever, and it being Little Kings. That's a little bit different, but not that far off. So Woodburn. Let's talk Woodburn. Let's talk Woodburn Kitchen. From the minute that the March 1st family bought the old Woodburn, and started trying to figure out ways to change it and convert it, Newbert Report says we have a local craft brewer who just named one beer, trying to make something along the lines of the big brewers. You know, I think I want a little bit more. I know that you know, especially back in the 60s or 70s, when there was a lot of big kind of light beers, there was a few brands that did things like that. If it just says beer, I think I am expecting a big brewer kind of American light lager or something like that is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting something that's kind of like Budweiser or Miller or something like that. So I do have an expectation still that is hopefully being met. Yeah, a crispy boy. Going back to Woodburn. So March 1st buys Woodburn, and from the very beginning they were trying to find ways to increase that customer experience while they're there. They pulled the brewery out of the building, which is a little controversial to some people, and I get that and I respect that. But it opened up more seating. There's now what they're calling a lounge area, even though there's no couches or anything to lounge on. They do need to do something like that, give us some kind of comfortable seating in there that makes it more loungy. That's also where the kitchen is in the back there. They were adding a food program, which is obviously why we were out there this week. Or last week was when I was actually there, but this week's show. They added the green space in the back. All of those are very intentional ways to increase that customer experience when they're there. The biggest, I think, being the food. It created now this place that you can go for lunch, you can sit down, you can have a meal, you can go there, you can take somebody there for dinner, for a date or whatever, and have a really great meal. And you're not going there just because it's a bar or a brewery. Julia says they should put in a bunch of Papasans to lounge in. I think that would be brilliant. So the food was definitely not half-assed. There has definitely been a little bit of an in-between period where they had a temporary license, so they were making some food, but nothing too crazy. Not that this is crazy, but this is definitely an elevated menu and something that I can see people going to try the food just as much as going to grab a beer. So I had, if we hang on, let me drink some more of my Little Kings, see if we can kill this and I can crack into that orange. So I had, we started with a couple appetizers. We split them between a few of us. We had the Grippo's dusted pork rinds. I'm not a huge pork rind fan. I don't eat a ton of pork rinds, but these were delicious. They were crispy. They were crunchy. They were great. I wanted more Grippo. I wanted like a little thing of like Grippo's barbecue sauce that I could dip them in. I get that not everybody wants to dip their pork rinds in barbecue sauce, but that's what I wanted. But they were good. The absolute star of the show for me, they have crispy cauliflower bites, which opens up a rant of mine that I have to say. If you are going to make crispy cauliflower bites, call them crispy cauliflower bites. Do not pretend that these are cauliflower wings. There is no such thing as a cauliflower wing. You cannot create something out of cauliflower and pretend that it is chicken. That is against the law of the universe, and it's not okay. And there are too many people trying to get away with that. In a similar fact, cauliflower might be the one biggest culprit of this that I've seen, because cauliflower rice, it's great, it's fine, it has a place in the world, I guess, but it's not rice. It's cauliflower. If you are going to make turkey bacon, and turkey bacon is not bacon. It's turkey strips. It's little tiny turkey strips. It's not bacon. It's in no way related to bacon. So Beyond Meat burgers. Yeah, I don't know about. There might be something to that. I haven't put too much thought into Beyond Meat burgers because I just like to pretend that they don't exist. If you want to eat plants, eat plants. Why do you have to try to make it taste like beef? It doesn't make sense to me. But Uh, I'm okay if you want to eat it. I'm not saying people shouldn't be eating Beyond Meat burgers. I still have never tried one. I am curious to try it, but I don't know that I will ever call it burger. I feel like it needs its own name. It needs like plant patties, something. I don't know. I said the same about turkey bacon recently. It really gets under my skin. And turkey bacon might be one of the biggest ones. Margot says, don't I care about you. I'm curious. I would love to try one that people say actually tastes like actual meat. Josh says, tastes fine, smells like cat food while cooking. Yeah, that doesn't sound appealing. Doesn't sound appealing at all. I don't think that I would cook them. I think I would go somewhere where they have them, somewhere where somebody is like, man, I cook a lot of these. I know what I'm doing. I can make a great, plant burger. A plant patty. I think that's what I'm going to start calling them, was plant patties. Because it is a good point. They're not burgers. Let me crack open a beer here. But what I was saying was that I spent all that time drying this off before, and then I threw it right back in the watery mess of a cooler. I can hear the kids running around upstairs. I know that doesn't come through on the mic, but it's giving me some type of feeling about what I'm going to walk into after I finish recording or live-ing. The cauliflower bites, they had some kind of barbecue-y kind of sauce on them, and they were absolutely fantastic. They were delicious. As long as you are not expecting wings. You're not expecting some kind of barbecue wings. I'm excited about this one. The only thing better than a super cold, straight out of the cooler beer is a super cold, straight out of the cooler beer that is made with oranges and is super tart. I wonder what kind of oranges are in here. If it's an orange medley, I feel like they should tell me what kind of oranges are in here. It just says that it is an ale brewed with fruit. Orange medley. It really tells me nothing about it. Do they have anything on their website about it? That's a good question. So the cauliflower bites were delicious, is where I'm going with this. Julia says, my guess is at least Cara and navel oranges. I think you are probably right. Ooh, there's all kinds of stuff in here. All right. The description on their website says, there are so many varieties of oranges, each expressing a unique aspect of the citrus. With a desire to explore this complex and nuanced fruit, we chose a refreshing blend of Satsuma, Clementine, Cara, Navel, and blood oranges. So, more oranges than I think I could have named right off the top of my head. And surprise, surprise, it is orange. Oh, wait, should I pull out my little beer light? I still need to come up with some kind of fun way to have like a beer light, maybe something that sits like over here all the time, and then when I want to show off a beer, it doesn't work. It's too bright. It just looks white. This little light, I use it all the time for stuff, and it just, I think that's as dull as it gets. Yeah, it is so bright. Like this is. That's full power. That's as low as it gets. There, you can kind of see above my hand there. It's pretty. It's orange. It's orange, you guys. Surprise, surprise. And a beer made with oranges is orange. Let's see. Newbert Report says, FYI, drinking a spiced wit beer brought back from the Yukon. Brewery just celebrated 25 years last week. Let's see. Marco's singing. Brad jumps on and says, late to the game. Just finished Boba Fett. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? I actually am all caught up on Boba Fett. I just finally started Ozark. All right, let me dive into this. And then I promise we'll talk about more about the food I eat at Woodburn. Oh, God, it's so good. It's orange. Tart orange beer. It's good. Absolutely delicious. I love beers like this from Urban Artifact. I don't care too much. Shouldn't say I don't care. I much prefer a beer like this at 6.9% than a big 15% fruit bomb. This is more drinkable to me, and it's more refreshing and more of what I want out of a beer for the most of the time. Let's see. Marco, do you mean how many barrels? Because I did not ask. One of the beers looked like something I'd seen before. Got to be hard to ship their beer to main areas. It takes over 20 hours to a large center. That's crazy. I don't have any I know looking at a map how big Canada is. So I recognize that Canada is expansive. But in my head, I don't really understand how big it is. We were talking about that yesterday with the Super Bowl, and somebody said that they had a friend that was that lived over there in California, and somebody asked how far away that was from L.A., and none of us knew how far away anything was from L.A. because I recognize in my head, picturing a map, that California is pretty long on the coast there. It's a big state. But also in my head, if somebody says, Northern California compared to Southern California, it's still California, and it seems like it's kind of close in my head. I for some reason I compare it to something like Ohio, where you can drive across the state in a day easily, in a few hours basically. Whereas that's not really the case with some states. It's very big, very, very large states, let alone somewhere like Canada. 20 hours to populations in the lower. Gotcha. So it's bad geography education, I guess, on my part. I have no idea. So going back to Woodburn, we two appetizers. We had the pork rinds. We had these little crispy cauliflower bites that just were absolutely delicious, and will probably be one of my go-to kind of small meals when I go there. Brad says San Francisco to Portland on a train was about 2 days. That's crazy to me. That doesn't compute to distance-wise that I feel like it should be. I'm always blown away by how big the country is, and for that same reason, how big Canada is. That's a lot of ground to cover if you're traveling. Obviously, I've taken trips around the country. I understand how big things are, but I always just picture it so much smaller, and for some reason. So when somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm from California," it feels to me like, "Oh yeah, well, California," versus how it actually is. For my main meal, so I got a brisket sandwich, which was just absolutely fantastic. It was brisket with what all was on there? There's some kind of cheesy. Hang on, let me look it up here. That was the wrong thing to Google. Food menu. Let's see. We have the brisket sandwich. It is house smoked brisket, roasted red pepper aioli, arugula, cheddar, and onion served on a baguette, and it was fantastic. They also have and this menu will grow when they actually fully open the kitchen, which there's a grand opening coming. I think this week, this Wednesday. There's an article on the blog about it if you want to fact check me. But they have a toadstool sandwich that I was really curious about. Ginger and soy marinated portobello mushroom with gochujang slaw and mayo. There's a chicken sandwich with ginger marinated chicken, more of that gochujang barbecue, kimchi, pickled white onions, and jalapenos. A pork sandwich. There's two different burgers. There's the Woodburn burger and a smash burger. There's those crispy Korean cauliflower bites. Pulled pork nachos. Oh, I'm hungry even reading this right now. Yeah, so the food is absolutely fantastic. If you guys are ever in the area and you were looking for something to grab to eat, you just stop at Woodburn. Seriously, it's absolutely fantastic. They are doing an incredible job of letting that place grow and letting it keep improving and like I said, making that experience better than it was maybe before. Yeah, that's all that I've really got for you guys. We are at 49 minutes, and like I said, my kids are most definitely still awake because I can hear them running around upstairs. I guess that's on the list when the Newport Report makes a road trip to Cincy. If you guys ever make a road trip to Cincy, you're going to be going to a lot of places. We will make sure of that. That would actually be really fun. We should make sure we all coordinate of when that happens and throw a big kind of a big weekend extravaganza of hitting up places and doing some live shows and all kinds of fun stuff. We could do it big. I appreciate everybody hanging out. If you like this show that is not a show, or if you like the Brewcast, which is a show, I plan to not drive once I get there. That's fine. We can definitely arrange that. If you guys like any of this stuff that I do, share it with a friend. More importantly, I guess that is the most important thing. Just keep sharing it with people. That's how everything keeps growing. But you can go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way. And that helps immensely, especially right now. This transition period with me quitting the day job and trying to do all of this other stuff. Having people supporting the show the way that they do really takes a weight off of my shoulders and makes it much more possible. I promise there is a ton of new content that will be coming. I'm trying to settle into a routine a little bit. Video content has been different. I am trying to make sure that the stuff that I am publishing is better quality than it was before. That means sometimes that it's not as frequent, and I don't like that, and I'm working to change that. But I do appreciate all of you guys for making sure all of this actually happens, and I wouldn't do this every Monday if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for sitting down and logging on and creating a conversation, something that we can do over a couple beers. We'll be back next week. same bat time, same bat channel. And stay tuned for new brewcasts. We have a fun one coming up next Monday, I believe. And I always shoot myself in the foot when I actually tell you what's coming up, because if you've been paying attention, it doesn't always work out that way. The next week's episode is, let me double check before I say this. Next week will be, a couple things are shifting around, which means next week I think is going to be a gorilla episode. And if you remember, gorilla is in GU, not GO. Gorilla style. We are showing up somewhere. It is a new guest on the show, somebody from social media. Every once in a while I put out the call and say, hey, somebody hit me up. I'm wanting to get somebody new on the show. And we are going to show up somewhere to a location that we have never recorded from before. I won't say any more than that. I don't want to spoil it. It is a new location for the Brewcast, and we're going to talk about a lot. It's the advantage of doing a guerrilla-style broadcast. There will not be somebody from the brewery on the show, so that loosens up the conversation a little bit, and sometimes we talk about things that we may not talk about if there was somebody from the brewery on the show. We'll leave it at that. Let's see. Brad said, I started a fun reggae band. Come check us out at Fretboard on 225 at 8. I assume at Fretboard. When I see that, I say, come check us out at Facebook on 225 at 8. I assume that is Fretboard, though. 225. What day of the week is that? And 225 is a Friday. And I believe I'm recording another show already that night, so I can't go. I think that is now our Bach show is going to happen that night, I think. And then 226, I may be, 226, I may be going to see some wrestling. Miles says, any good out-of-state beers lately? No, I haven't had any out-of-state beers other than Kentucky. I've been drinking a lot of local stuff. I think I do have some out-of-state stuff in there that I need to dive into, but not a lot, man. There's just too much here to keep drinking. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it, right? Thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up so that I can go make sure my kids aren't burning the house down. If there isn't wrestling when I come, I'll be so disappointed. Yeah, that's why we need to plan all of this very cleverly. In fact, I think that we need to we need to plan all of this. It needs to be it needs to be planned out properly. Anyone making any Bengals-themed beers coming up? I haven't heard about anything that is coming other than the stuff that is already there. I imagine next season there will be a whole lot more people thinking about that at the beginning of the football season. So that'll be interesting to see. But there's still plenty around in town right now. So thank you guys. We will be back next week. Thank you for hanging out, and make sure you share all of the stuff that we do here and there and everywhere with your friends, because that's how it keeps growing. Thank you guys. Cheers. Everybody have a good night. Everybody have a good work week. We'll see you later. It did finally get a little bit quieter upstairs. That either means somebody went to sleep or they all killed each other. Hopefully, it's just sleep.